And I will begin with that deal between British Poundland and South Africa's Steinhoff, as shareholders in the British single-price retailer Poundland has approved a £610 million takeover by South African retailer Steinhoff. The proposed transaction, recommended by Poundland's board last month, was backed by its investors at both a court meeting and a general meeting at the retailer's head office. The transaction is scheduled to be completed on September 16. And to global market now. In Asia, Nintendo surged on Super Mario as Asian markets traded mixed today, while investors weighed what the Fed's beige book means for U.S. interest rates. Japan's Nikkei 225 closed down 0.32% as the yen remained relatively strong. Mainland China Shanghai Composite closed up 0.15%, and the Shenzhen Composite finished up 0.27%. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index was up 0.72% during Asian trade, and South Korea's benchmark Kospi closed up slightly at 0.09%. And in Europe, the ECB is about now briefing on its new policy direction. Let's cross over to Frankfurt. DWTV Channels TV financial correspondent Ulrich Bartz is on standby there to talk to us. Good afternoon, Ulrich. Well, I guess the ECB is about now speaking on its new policy direction. What has been the mood in the market ahead of this announcement?
Well, the market was awaiting anxiously what news would be coming out of the ECB tower, because a lot of people were expecting the ECB to announce that it was going to be doing more in the future. Many people reckoned that the ECB would announce that it would prolong its bond buying program beyond March 2017. 2017 March is a cutoff date as we speak, but many people expected the ECB to do more, to pour even more money into the economy of the Eurozone in order to bring up inflation. So far, all the money that's been printed hasn't done a whole lot of good to bring up inflation and to bring up growth. Surprise announcement today is that the time is not being extended. The program ends in March 2017, and neither is the amount being changed. 80 billion euros, that's to remain the same. That was all contained in an early statement issued about a half an hour ago. That was a bit of a surprise that news was already issued ahead of the press conference. The rates in the Eurozone do remain unchanged, 0% for lending to banks and minus 0.4% for any money that the banks deposit with the ECB.
Oh, wow. Wonderful update there, Ulrich. Now, finally, Apple launched its iPhone 7 with new features, but investors weren't thrilled. The stock traded in negative territory even after the announcement. Why that sentiment from investors?
I think there are two reasons, and they seem to contradict one another a little. One reason, I think, is because the iPhone is not innovative enough, it's not new enough, and another reason is it's too innovative. Let's start with that. You no longer have a hole in which to put your headphone jack. I think a lot of people will think at the moment that they'll be missing that in future, and will be glad that they have their old phone where they can put their old headphones into. The new phone works with a different kind of connection. It's supposed to be waterproof. It has two cameras. It has different processors. But the problem is it looks much the same as the old one. People who have seen it, I haven't seen it yet, but people who have been at the presentation, they write that it can hardly be distinguished from the old iPhone, and in that way it's not new enough probably for a lot of people looking for something extra special for Apple, for that extra special dollar that they're supposed to invest in order to get it.
Well, I'm sure the company thought perhaps that the detached earphone would have made a difference, but it didn't. Now, which of the companies are making news in the market today?
I think it's interesting that the Daimler CEO, Dieter Zetsche, came out with an interview. He talked to the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, the FAZ, which is one of the major nationals here in Germany, and it's strong in business reporting. And Zetscher said that he expects to be back at the helm of premium car makers by 2020. And already this year, Daimler could get back the #1 position ahead of BMW. At the moment, it's BMW, Daimler, Audi. And he's quite confident that with his model lineup, which is pretty new and also in comparison to the major two competitors from Germany, BMW and Audi, that he can achieve that. And he also says that something I think is very interesting, the Volkswagen diesel scandal, well, a lot of people expected other car manufacturers to suffer as well. Well, he says Daimler, or Mercedes-Benz rather, hasn't felt that. They're still selling the same number of diesel cars proportionately, and customers coming into their showrooms don't even inquire about anything to do with diesel emissions manipulation. I think that's an interesting fact from the CEO of Daimler.
Right, Ulrich, we're actually putting our eyes on one of those companies, and that's Volkswagen. Of course, that company is actually eyeing East Africa, and we'll keep following up to see what happens thereafter. Thank you very much for your time, Ulrich. Now, let's take a look at that Apple iPhone 7 launch. Now, the latest iPhone will be water and dust resistant and boasts zooming 12-megapixel camera. The Plus edition will have 2 cameras. Unveiled at a big event in San Francisco, one thing it does not have, an analog headphone jack, a push-to-wireless device, including Apple's new AirPods, and which come out in late October. For those not ready to detach, Apple has new headphones that come with a phone but fit into the charging port.
Better battery, faster chips, sleeker phone. We don't have any problem seeing them sell 45 to 50 million phones in the next 3 months.
Apple has been a great long-term play, and I think that is proof of having a long-term vision for a company. Is they continue to have incredible talent and incredible vision and, best of all, amazing execution. So, it's not necessarily a trigger to run out and buy today, but if you're an Apple shareholder, you should be pretty happy.
In the meantime, the world's leading consumer electronics and home appliances trade show, IFA, has ended in Berlin, capital of Germany. This year's theme focused on televisions, which still created quite the buzz with the presentation of the LG OLED tunnel at the show.
Well, I think there's always demand for improvement. I think in terms of 4K versus 8K, I don't see that this is going to be an imminent next step. HDR is the key word here. I think there's still a lot of picture quality improvement that you will see with new televisions and that you can see in a Build 7.
What we are seeing right now is, from the perception of the talk, the way it's talked about it, and the sales numbers, that it's really is now at this tipping point. And I would assume that in 2 or 3 years, nearly everyone will have a smart home.